Dear Mr. Ibrahim, thanks a lot for your comment. So let's get started. Straightforward, we're going to make a stored procedure where you pass parameters and the stored procedure processing them, and according to the rules of the database we either commit the transaction or roll it back. In this stored procedure we use try catch transaction method, which is simply is a statement or a group of statements take place with the try block. If an error happens, the control is passed to another group of statements which take place with the catch block. What does that mean? It means I'm trying to do something. If it goes well, fine. If it doesn't go well, I will catch that and try to do something else. Example, I'm trying to divide 2 by 2, that always equals to 1. So there is no problems here. So that statement, it will go with the try block. But if I'm trying to divide 2 by 0, there is no division by 0, so it will give an error. So the try block will not take place, but it will pass the control to the catch block to tell me what to do. For example, I will roll it back or I will raise a message. So let us see how we can use this method to do the case where we insert a record in the master table as well as inserting a record in the child table. So let us have a look at the stored procedure. I start with variables where we'll pass the data to the stored procedure. First thing, the contact name, contact date of birth, contact address. These are the 3 variables where will go to the master table. Then we have the phone type and the phone number. These 2 variables will go to the child table. Then we declare another variable called identity ID that will retrieve the ID of the individual inserted in the master table. Then we declare 4 variables for error handling, and now we start with the try block, which I will say begin try, and under it I will say begin transaction. Here it doesn't mean a single transaction, it could be multiple transactions going in different tables or different databases in different server. Could be anything. But first I will try to see if this individual exists in the master table or not. So the idea is here, if it exists I will return the ID, if it doesn't exist I will create it. So I will say if exists, select the ID from the TBL contacts where is the name equal to the contact name variable, and I will say begin. So if it exists, I will set the identity ID to select this ID from the master table. If it doesn't, I will say else begin, and I will insert these variables to the master table. And this is the first transaction, and right after it I will set the identity ID equal to scope identity to get the ID of the individual we just created. The second transaction is whether to insert a phone number into the TBL contacts phone or not. So I will use the same methodology. I will say if not exist, I will try to find the phone number in the TBL contacts phone. If it does not exist, I will just insert it from the variables I defined above. If not, I will say print the phone exists, and at the end I will say here commit transaction, and that replies to the begin transaction up there. So anything or any statements written between begin transaction and commit transaction will go together, or they will not go at all. Something like we live together or we die together. Then I will end the try, and this is the end of my try block. Then I will begin catch. So if something goes wrong up there between the begin try and end the try, I will start to catch it here. So simply I will select the error number variable I declared and the error procedure and the error line, and every one of these equal to the global variable which you call error number in brackets and error procedure brackets and error line bracket. These are global variables. We catch it from where the error occurred. Could be in this database, could be in another database or another server. Wherever it happens, we catch it here and we set to our variables. And then I will say print. I will print this error in front of me in the screen to know what happened. Then I will say rollback transaction, and this replies to begin transaction only if there is an error. So we have begin transaction, commit transaction happens when everything is okay with my transactions, and rollback transaction replies to begin transaction when there is an error. So begin transaction either ends with commit or rollback, and then I will say end catch to end my catch block, and this is end for the stored procedure create or alter and go to execute. So let us try that. First, let us make sure whether Said exists in the TBL contacts or not. Here is a simple select. We don't have him. Okay, and the last contact ID I have in the contacts phone was number 8. So Said does not exist at all. I will execute the store procedure using these 5 variables I used. I'm passing the values. Here, first value is Said, date of birth, city unknown, and the phone type is 101, which was work phone, I guess, and this is a number. So this is a perfect case. We'll execute it. Here the store procedure replied to me 1 rows affected, contact inserted, and printed the ID, and then it say 1 rows affected, phone insert. So this is the perfect case. If we go try here with Said, selected, yes, I have him, the ID is number 30, and if I go in TBL contacts phone and try to find, yes, this is a number. Very good. So now we delete them again from the TBL contacts phone first because of the relationship, and we delete Said from the master table. Good. Now we make this dashes here in order to make an error trying to insert the phone with dash, as we said in the previous chapter. And I will execute the store procedure. Here it is. Give me an error. So it tries to insert Said in the TBL contacts, and it took the ID. Then ID was number 31. But when it was trying to go into the TBL contacts phone, because of the dashes, it couldn't insert it, and here it says the message, the insert statement conflict with the check constraint as we know it. So if I try to go and see, do we have Said? No, we don't have him. Do we have any phone number for Said? No, we don't have either. So I will go modify this number to make it again to go to the database, execute the store procedure. So I have 2 rows. 1 goes in the master table and 1 goes in the child table. So let us try another number. I will say 88888, and I will execute the store procedure again. In this case, I have only 1 row affected in the phone number because Said already exists in the master table, and therefore we have here contact exists, ID number 32, and 1 row affected in the phone number. Let us try to select that again from here. So Said remains the same, and the phone number for him, 2 phone numbers. So we try another one with dash, and let's see what happened. 555-666, and we'll execute the store procedure. Nothing. It says the contact exists, Said exists, but we couldn't insert phone number for him because of the constraint. And this is true. If I go to the TBL contacts phone try, I still have 2 numbers for him, and that's it. So we have made 3 different cases where 2 transaction goes together, or 2 transaction roll back together because of an error, or 1 transaction goes only because the master record exists. And this is a very good example of using try catch transactions in order to maintain the data consistency and the data integrity among our tables. Thank you very much for your question, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you very soon. Thanks a lot, Hussam.